welcome. Welcome back to In the Meantime. If you are new here, if this is your first time, a special welcome to you. I am going to continue from where I left off when I was talking about starting grade 4. So now I'm going to start grade 4 in what was now the new Peggyberry Primary School with a new principal, Mrs. Samuels. She was a great principal, and my, did she love flowers. She started to transform the school compound by making flower beds all over the school compound. She would stay late evenings doing it with her sister, Miss Walters. On Thursday evenings of each week, she would have the whole school out cleaning up the schoolyard. A couple of years later, she started entering the school into a competition for best kept premises. And for the years that she was there, Peggyberry Primary School always won. My grade 4 teacher was Miss Mullings. She lived in Peggyberry, but she was not from Peggyberry. She was boarding in Peggyberry. Okay, let me get back to my life outside of school. At home, the uneasiness continued. Mom would swear at me for every and anything, and the punishment of withholding food from me continued. Peggyberry was surrounded by cane fields, and these were owned by some white men. Some were named Mr. Meany, and you had Mr. DeLissa and others. And the canes that they planted and reaped were sent to the sugar factory. The cane field was one of my source of easing my hunger. So I would break the cane, peel them, and eat them. Mind you, other kids also ate the canes. I never mentioned before that we had a church in the district. The name of the church was Peggyberry Wesleyan Holiness Church. At first, the pastor there was Pastor Mackenzie. I only attended the church during summertime when we got summer break. I attended Vacation Bible School, which I enjoyed because they had a lot of activities. Later on, Pastor Jenkinson came with his wife and his children, and they also played a great role in my life later on in life. Yeah, by chance I lived close to the church. When you get to the coming off the main road, as you turned into the street where I lived, the church was the first building on the left, and then on the right hand side you had Miss Ina's house. Then there was an empty lot, and after that there was my house. How lucky was I that I could see both the church and the school from my home. I was now almost responsible for myself. They didn't care if I went to school, so no arrangement was made for lunch. In the mornings, a big pot of tea would be made, and the tea would be made from leaves like from lime leaf or orange leaves, or we had fever grass, which I later got to know the proper name was lemon grass. And sometimes we would have bread with it or leftover food like dumpling or yam, and these would be reheated on the coals from the wood fire, or if we were lucky enough, they would be reheated in a pot, frying pan or Dutch pot with oil and fried over. I would then leave for school knowing that there would be no lunch. The hunger pangs would be there, but I had gotten used to them by now. I enjoyed learning at school and playing during recess with my friends. In the evenings, I would break a cane if any was available because you see, the canes were reaped during what we call crop time, and then they were taken to the sugar factory at Frome in Westmoreland for processing into sugar for export. At about 9 years old, I became the letter writer in the home. You see, I was the only literate one in the home. Mom would buy what was then known as ear letter. It was a blue unlined paper and it already had stamp on it. I wrote the letters to her daughter Dottie, who was living in England. At 9 years old, it was difficult writing in a straight line on unlined paper. She dictated or told me what to write, and I wrote. We had what they called a postal agency, and that was where she bought the ear letter and later mailed it after I wrote it. I wrote so many that the address in England, or the address that I wrote to, was embedded in my memory. I just could not remember one of the letters in the postcode. So just 2 years ago, 2023, I put the address in Google and I had enough information to get the missing letter for the postcode to finish the address. Lo and behold, I found the house online that I wrote all those letters to. Believe me, it was very, very sobering. Uncle Sonny, Mom's son, was always around, and he was the one that was kind to me. At some point, he learned to drive a tractor to make a living. I remember him on Sundays. In the mornings, he would lie on the bed with the radio on his belly. Okay, how did I see him lying on the bed? We had a 2-bedroom house. There was what you call the living room, but we called it hall back then. So there was a double bed in the living room. That was Uncle Sonny's bed. And then we had a folding bed Um, I think it was a quarter bed or a half bed, and or single, yeah. And it would be fold. We would fold it up in the mornings, put it under uncle's bed, and then take it out at night, and B and I would sleep on that. So it was in the hall that the uncle's bed was, so I was able to see him. So on Sunday mornings, he would lie on the bed with the radio on his belly, listening to Billy Graham or any of the other radio evangelists. I could see tears streaming down his face many times, and it made me curious. So I would pay keen attention to what he was listening to. In doing that, God started planting a seed of love for Him, God, in my heart. It was from listening to those sermons with Uncle Sonny that I realized I could talk to God and that He loved me. It made a big difference in my life. I never felt loved by anyone. I was never hugged as a child, but I now learned that there was someone who loved me, and his name was God, and that he also had a son, Jesus, who loved me too, so much that he died so that I could go to heaven. And I learned also that he, even though he died, he rose again, so he was still alive. At school, I continued with the usual learning and other activities. One day, the principal, Mrs. Samuels, called me to come to her. I did, and she told me that my class teacher, Miss Mullings, told her I was brilliant, so she wanted to know why I did not do common entrance lessons. Common entrance lessons were in preparation for the common entrance examination that one would take to go to high school. So, even though the there was the grade 6 class, it was mostly students in grade 6 that would do common entrance. The brighter students that would sit the exam, they would stay over in the evenings, and Mrs. Samuels would give them what you call lessons or extra lessons, and they would have to pay for it. And so that was how they prepared them to do the exam. I told her that the people that I lived with did not care about me and school, so they would not pay for the lessons, and neither would they buy the books that I would need. She asked me if I had lunch in the days. I felt ashamed. I held my head down and I told her no. She said to me, "Come to the canteen in the days during lunchtime and you will get a lunch." You see, they had the school canteen and they had a cook. Her name was Miss James. She could really cook. And the children who had money would buy lunch, but I did not have any money to buy lunch. So I didn't bother to go to the canteen. Mrs. Samuels also told me that I should come to the common entrance lesson classes in the evenings, and I did not have to pay her, and that she would also provide the books for me. I was so happy, and this was a very, very important moment, a very defining moment in my life, because it changed things for me. Had it not been for that action that day, I don't think I would have taken the path that I took later in life. So my gratitude goes out to Mrs. Samuels. She is someone that I will never, ever forget. God bless her. May she continue to rest in peace. I'm going to stop here for now. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you'll know when I post another video. And until then, we will talk again. Please comment in the comment section. Talk with me. Tell me your experiences. Was there anybody in your life that made a big difference in your life? Or have you made a big difference in anybody's lives? So until then, and we will talk again while I wait upon the Lord. God bless you.